All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the CHB podcast. Today, I'm joined by Relly Hall and his new microphone. Is that new mic or the Blue Yeti?
Yeah, this is a brand new mic, man.
How much did that set you back right there?
100?
100? Yeah, in Australia, they're about like 180, 200 or something like that. They're
Really?
ridiculous. Yeah, well, their money's a little different than yours. So it's probably balances out to nearly the same thing. I think we're a little more, though. It's a pain in the ass, bro. But we got some more NBA news to talk about. Me and Relly just basically watched the Cleveland Cavaliers versus Detroit Pistons games. Now, I don't usually like to talk about individual games too much, but this game basically just took place on the 25th of February in Australia, or the 24th for those in America. And I just said to Relly then, this could be possibly one of the worst Cleveland Cavaliers performances I've ever seen. Take us through it. What do you think went wrong? What was like so bad about the game?
What went wrong is that we did not have a clear-cut leader, offensive leader, right? Because Rondo tried his best, but when it came down, because Rondo's not Rubio, and that was always going to be the problem, because Rondo, he's a good playmaker, he's a vet, he understands how to get his team going, but unfortunately, he didn't really have anybody to get going. Like, I know Larry Markkinen was hooping, but you really can't depend on a big to get you out. It's really hard to do that. And with us not having Caris LeVert or Darius Garland, it has made it rough for us, man. Because at first, I thought Cedi Osman was going, he was showing some flashes, and then for whatever reason, as the game went on, he just dimmed out.
Yeah.
So I think we need another scorer. We need another veteran scorer.
Yeah. I was pretty shocked to see. It's not like this is the first time Markkinen has done it, but I was pretty shocked to see him absolutely step up and be like the number one shot creator tonight. I thought we were going to see a bit of Kevin Love in the post, which what happened to every single player we had every time they would post up a Pistons player, it would just fall apart. It's not like they were getting double teamed or anything like that. It'd just be an easy swipe from even a smaller dude like Killian Hayes, and whatever player we had in the post would lose the ball. It was a pain in the ass. I thought Love was going to step up. I thought Osman was going to step up. And honestly, if we didn't have Markkinen stepping up, I think it could have been a lot uglier than it was. And again, Brandon Goodwin in the last couple of minutes, I don't know what it is with Brandon Goodwin, but half the game he just plays terrible or doesn't do anything. But then, like, certain other parts of the game, he's really good. Like, again, the last 5 minutes, I don't think we would have came back if we kept Rondo on the court. But when we put Brandon Goodwin on, it just all changed. I just don't know what's up with Brandon Goodwin. But again, when it comes to this game, do you think it was because maybe we lacked a shot creator, or was it more of the ball movement just was kind of just not there tonight?
I think we missed a shot creator. Honestly, I think we missed a respectable shot creator, which is where Garland or Caris LeVert would have been essential. And I think we brung in Caris LeVert and we made him play the bench role because of that, because we always fear, because Darius Garland this back injury has been hurting him for a while now, right? Even way before the All-Star break. This is why they was resting him. And unfortunately, we didn't have either one of them. Now, we hope that Cedi Osman would have a tendency of being a shot creator, but Cedi Osman sometimes is a little too inconsistent, especially down the stretch. And I really don't think it was the ball movement. I actually think the ball movement kind of showed you that we needed a shot creator too, because it was like literally nobody to pass it to. And even in the first couple quarters, like even with Laurie, you can tell Rondo was trying to, they was trying to get Laurie Markkinen in the groove. Like you can tell, like they was trying to get him back up to speed. And you can see why Laurie Markkinen was kind of feeling good. But once they was getting him in the groove, it was literally nobody else to pass it to. Like nobody didn't want to shoot the ball. Nobody wanted to score.
Yeah.
Even Rondo, like that's not his game.
That is very true because I guess when you take Lauri Markkinen out of it and you make him a shot creator, you automatically lose a dude that can space out the floor. And because like we know that when Markkinen tries to be a shot creator, he just cannot consistently pull up from three. Like it just doesn't happen. Like you can't expect a dude that slow and I guess not that agile just to be able to, run around a play, do a step back and shoot a three like Markkinen. He doesn't have the capability to do it. When Markkinen shoots threes, it's it's usually when he's wide open, or it's a catch and shoot type play, right? I don't think Markkinen is when he becomes a shot creator, I don't think he's the type of dude to shoot an off dribble three. So I guess you kind of lose Markkinen as a catch and shoot player. And considering we couldn't get Love or Osman open tonight, really didn't have many options at all. It's a really big pain, but I liked your Rubio insight that you said earlier too. I feel like if we had Ricky Rubio tonight, the game could have been a little bit different because he had shown a bunch of signs of being a shot creator this year. And I felt like the ball movement would have been a lot more smooth, in my opinion. But with the injuries that we have now, do you think this is going to cost us? Because we're very close to being the 6th seed. Like, we're like one game ahead of the Celtics.
I don't think it's going to cost us. I don't think there's anything to be alarmed about yet. Because with Caris LeVert, they got him the max. They expect him to be out as 2 weeks. Garland may be, we just going to assume he's day-to-day right now because a report just came out that they feel like the best medicine at this point is rest for Garland. So we can assume like the back injury is not as threatened as a lot of people thought it was going to be. It's really just a matter of can we rest him at the right time, which is why I think because honestly, I think they rested him tonight because they felt like the Cavs were going to beat the Pistons. Unfortunately, we just didn't get the job done. I think you probably see Garland the next game. They probably won't play him, but the game after they probably put him on the floor because they're not trying to rush him. They're not going to rush a player that just went to the All-Star game. He's an All-Star player. Arguably, he might win Most Improved Player this season. And like you said, we're really high in the Eastern Conference. Yes, this, 1 or 2 losses could, change our trajectory, but I think they have enough faith long-term that, it's not as bad. So I do think it's not something to be scared of now, but I will say that it might be important for the Cavs to right now start looking at, players that they can have on the bench that could be like a Lou Williams type of player, right? Like a veteran player that can score the ball, but doesn't have, or like just don't have the mindset to take shots from the team, right? And that's what they try to do with Caris. He's 26, 27. Unfortunately, he got hurt. I think if he was on the floor, it would have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's anything like, because we got Lauri Markkinen back. We wait 2 more weeks, we get Caris back.
Hopefully.
And let's say in a week times we have DG back. So I don't think it's anything to be scared of.
Well, I just looked at who we're playing next, and it's actually the Wizards and at home. So I'm pretty in my opinion, you don't need to rush anyone back for that game. I mean, every time we've played them, you chuck Isaac Okoro on Beal. Somehow Beal just can't get around Okoro. And then Mobley or Allen should do the job on Kristaps, I reckon. And then you've got the aim. You just got to make sure their role players don't do anything special.
And I think Bill is out, isn't he? I thought he was out for the remaining of the season.
I don't know. He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know what the Wizards are doing, bro. What are the Wizards doing? What's their attack here? Because they traded for Kristaps. I don't know what's going on there.
I think they hope they hope is that they did enough in this trade deadline to make Bradley Beal consider resigning an extension here in Washington. Because realistically, they're not contending this season.
No.
That was not the goal. Their goal was to let Bradley heal up, and hopefully this player, Kristaps Porzingis, shows enough talent that excites Bradley Beal where he might say, you know what, I try it next season because I feel like if I'm fully healthy and he's fully healthy, maybe we can get into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Also with Kuzma,
Been a good
assuming
player.
Kuzma can still be as good alongside, and then hopefully Thomas Bryant can get back to going. Denny, and hopefully they can get Rory back in there. But I think that's the gamble they're trying. I do believe they low-key Bradley Beal may actually extend there.
Yeah.
I think that is a very high probability, honestly. But
I think they desperately need. Dude, I reckon the Wizards have one of the deepest teams in the league. The amount of role players this team has, they need to 100% move on from some of these guys because, like, KCP is a very good player, right? Very good player. But KCP is also taking minutes away from Denny Avdiya. He's taking minutes away from Rui Hachimura. All these guys who, and Corey Kispert as well. All of these forwards that they wanted to develop and just like have been taking bench roles this season because other players have taken their job. And I feel like, yes, I know some of these guys will be in free agents, but I feel like at the trade deadline, if they really wanted to go in and they already brought in Kristaps, I actually reckon they should have looked to try and see if they could have brought in another max player, like a max point guard or someone like that, and offered up like 3 solid role players, a first round pick or 2. Then you would 100% guarantee the signing of Bradley Beal as well. And you could have looked at something there.
Honestly, I think that might still be in play, actually. I think that may actually, because obviously I don't think that play, I don't think they would have been able to do that this trade deadline. I think, which is why I kind of think this is their gamble. Their gamble is if they was able to get KP, Bradley Beal would be happy enough to, in the offseason, say, hey, I'm going to extend, which I think may and may not, because they talking about Don and Dame and all these players might be want to go somewhere. And if Bradley Beal says, hey, we already got KP, we got, I'm a hooper. We add you to this East, in the offseason, I could take a little bit of a pay cut and we can bring you here. Because Washington, like you said, they got the young talent and they got essentially all of their picks to acquire star talent. I think that's still in play. I think they can still do that. They got the contracts. Like they got the right amount of contracts with Thomas Bryant and, young talent. So I think that's still in play.
My worry is, though, all of those players are free agents now because they had this opportunity on trade deadline, but Bryant is a free agent. KCP is a free agent. Those are the 2 like big role players that I thought they would have thrown around. They've still got some young players here and there like Isaiah Todd. I wonder if going into free agency, I actually believe they will try and trade Rui Hachimura because he's not going to progress taking a backseat behind Kyle Kuzma. It's not going to happen. And if you can do a sign and trade of KCP and Bryant and put them on 10 million each, and then you've got Hachimura on like 6 million. You've got 26 million there to match up with a star, right? And there will be point guards available. One player who I would try and talk to, I actually would wonder, would Kyrie Irving be an interesting guy for the Wizards? Because I don't think he'll go. I don't think he will leave. But could he be an interesting guy? Think about that, though. Irving at the point, Beal at the shooting guard, Avdiya at the forward, power forward, you'd have what's his name? Kuzma, center KCP. What do you think?
That would be an entertaining team to see in the East, but that means a lot of stuff went wrong in Brooklyn for that to happen. Yeah. But that would be a dominant team.
What are the chances of happening?
Quotation.
Pretty slim, right? It's just out of the.
I say like 10%. I give them the benefit. I say 10%. If it wasn't for Kyrie's relationship with KD being so high, I would probably, because I don't see. I think they all in. Yeah.
We'll have to see how Kyrie plays because by the time this podcast comes out, he'll be able to play home games, I think. But if he's not playing great and he's still got issues with the team and still wants to play basketball, dude, Washington would give him a max contract, 2 stars to play with, a solid core. Why wouldn't he consider it? That'd be a team that he could keep an eye out for.
Honestly, I wouldn't even, if I was them, if Washington really wanted to avoid drama, because I feel like no matter what Kyrie do,
he's gonna bring drama.
Media's like he's gonna bring drama. It's just media just do not like Kyrie Irving.
No.
I think if Washington really wanted a guard, right, I think I would immediately hit up Portland and see what is the price for Damian Lillard.
Wow.
And I'm giving up anything and everything to get Damian Lillard.
Hold on.
Bradley Beal.
I was actually going to talk about Damian Lillard because I've got the complete opposite opinion about that. And here's going to be the title of this clip. You ready? The Portland Trailblazers are going to be a seriously good team next year. I guarantee it. You know why?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
You know why?
Why?
Here's what Portland have done, which no one is talking about. They have freed up $65 million in cap space for free agency, right? And they have 2 top 15 picks. There's also a player who has been extremely interested in going to Portland, who still wants to be a top guy on his team, that I think will 100% go there, and is apparently is close with Damian Lillard as well. Jeremy Grant, dude. Jeremy Grant, I think, could 100% go to Portland. Then what you're doing here is you bring in Jeremy Grant, $25 million a year, $20 to $25 million a year. Bring in a bunch of other role players. Bring Nurkic back. 2 top 15 players you're bringing in off the bench. Continue development of Simons. You got a second year now on your new coach. Damian Lillard's back healthy. I think they're actually going to be... I have a feeling Portland are like low-key up to something. I have a feeling behind it.
You think so?
I actually do. I have a big feeling. And this isn't me like saying a far-fetched thing. Like the Wizards and Kyrie Irving, I just kind of pulled that out of my ass just here and there on this podcast right now. But I've given serious thought to the Portland Trailblazers. And I think they're going to be really good next year.
It's crazy because it's ironic because I feel the opposite. I do not feel like Portland. I do not feel like Portland strategically made the moves to free up that cap to acquire a talent. And the only reason I feel that way is because of what they traded CJ McCollum for, right? Because yes, Josh Hart he can be a talented player. Don't get me wrong. I think we've talked about him. Josh Hart, he gives them a different dimension of what Portland needed for years, right? I think they should have traded for Drew Holiday. But I do not think that they got the full return for CJ McCollum. And because of that, I have a suspicion that they are intending to rebuild this roster. It's just a matter of can they get the right players to rebuild this roster. I think they are, as much as they say they're never going to trade Dame, I think is coming. It is approaching. And I think it might happen as quickly as this offseason where Damian Lillard ends up getting traded.
You don't think Jeremy Grant could join the Trailblazers? Because that was the word before in the trade deadline. They were saying that the Trailblazers were one of the big teams. And then it was talked about once the Trailblazers blew it up that they were actually saving cap to bring in Grant in the offseason. And dude, Grant is still a guy that could average 18 a game, 36% from three, good perimeter defense. And I just have a feeling that, and Nurkic has come back really well. Like since all these trades have happened, I'm pretty sure Nurkic is averaging a double-double and is playing the best he has since like 2018.
Yeah, but then he got hurt.
A solid small forward in there, that starting five would be good. Like Dame right there. Simons is averaging 18 plus this year. Then you've got a small forward there. You got Grant at the power forward and Nurkic at the 5. All you need is just fill out that bench, and that's a playoff team.
And I'm willing to bet because Nurkic, I think they said Nurkic might be out for a month. Did
he get injured again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're kidding me, bro. Why is he doing this to me?
I'm almost certain. And this is why I believe, right? Because low key, I do think you were. I think Portland, because I think we all heard the rumors. They eagerly wanted Grant. I think they intent with Grant. I think they are going to end up getting Grant. But I do not think it's because they want to build Grant with Damian Lillard. I think they getting Grant to build around Fernie Simons.
Simons.
I think that's
Wow.
really because I think they're gonna end up trading Nurkic. I think the only reason they wasn't able to do it before the trade deadline is because his asking price was probably too low because of his health. And I do feel like Dame, they're gonna find a way to get Dame out of there. And the reason I think that is because they would not have, if their intent was really to essentially build their roster back up via free agency, I do not think they would have traded CJ McCollum for just Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander, who they traded again for a player. I don't even remember who they traded him for.
But they got a top 15 pick though, right? That's what they got out of the deal.
Yeah, they got some good picks, but once again, I just don't think those picks is gonna be able to get developed in time to restructure, which is kind of making me feel like Dame is not gonna be there for this pick, because I think they're gonna draft that pick. I don't think they're not trading that pick. They can't. No. Right? I think they're gonna double down with Nasir Little. I think they're gonna double down with Fernie Simons. I think they're gonna go out their way to try to trade Nurk, and I think they are going to try attempt to shop Damian Lillard.
So hold on, we both think the Trailblazers are getting Jeremy Grant, but you think it's for a rebuild to put him with Simons to at least make it somewhat interesting. But I believe the Trailblazers are going to go all in. I just feel like that'd be uncharacteristic of what we've seen the Trailblazers do for so many years, for them to trade a guy. And I've seen Dame's been doing podcasts recently. Like, I don't think he wants to leave.
He doesn't.
I don't think it's happening.
He doesn't, and that's the crazy thing. But the reason why, like I said, because like you even said it best just a moment ago, Portland, what we've been saying for Portland, this is really, really weird for Portland to be in this situation. For the past 10 years, Portland has been consistently making a standard move, right? Little small moves, get a little role player here. But obviously this season, some happened for them to pull the plug, right? Because they traded Robert Covington. They traded, it was another small forward they gave up too. Larry Nance.
Larry Nance,
Which
I think was good. Larry Nance just wasn't doing anything for them. That was, Larry Nance, dude. I don't know what's going on with him.
And then they traded CJ McCollum before the trade deadline, which I do not like. People knew they was probably gonna shop CJ, but not this soon, right?
Is it weird that I actually think that they came out better for the CJ McCollum trade at the moment? Not saying for the future, because I don't know what's going on with the Pelicans. And I think this might segue into my next thing. So we'll talk about the Pelicans in a second. But I'm thinking, now I'm not a gambler. My mates all gamble. They're all in betting. But I've just gotten an idea. We could legitimately put a bet on, we don't have to do it now, but a bet for me to say the Trailblazers make the playoffs next year and for you to say that they don't and see who wins. I reckon that's interesting because I've got them making the playoffs at the moment because I reckon they're going to go big. But I got to wait till free agency first. I need to see what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm willing. I'm not even willing to see free agent. I'm willing to bet a case of Sprite right now. A can of Sprite, a case on some Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp that they will not, that they have the intent to trade Damian this season, and that they will not. Well, and really the bet is that the Portland will not make the playoff next season.
It's really
no matter what moves they make.
Yeah, people are going to be watching this, and Trailblazers fans, half of them are going to be like, hell yeah, we're going to make the playoffs. The other half are going to be like, dude, we need to rebuild by now. And then NBA fans are just going to be NBA fans are just going to be saying, I just want Damian Lillard on my team. I don't care what happens. Just give me Dame.
Yeah, because they should free Dame. But I honestly, at this point, and I'm not even going to fake, because honestly, I don't think Portland fans, they are going to be in the mix. Yeah. And I do not think they should be angry. But I really think if Portland really want what's best for Portland, they would double down on what I believe is Portland attempting to rebuild officially.
Yeah.
And I really think so because, like you said best, Portland typically for the past 10 years or so has stayed to a certain formula that they wouldn't make too many crazy or make too many big moves, right? Portland has already this season made a lot of big moves to create a lot of salary cap, which they have been over the salary cap for literally the past several years.
Yeah.
Right. And they're attempting to try to develop their young players like a Fernie, Nasir. And I just believe that, and even if they get Jeremy Grant, I feel like Jeremy Grant is really to complement those young guys. I don't think it's really for Dame.
True.
And that's one of the reasons why I think they also preparing that cap space too. One is to pay
Simons eventually, and
then also eventually
Little maybe.
So, and I really think to an extent, I think they're trying to do like how the Cavs did our rebuild, right? Have the money available. If we need some role players, we get those role players for those young guys. Because I think at some point, Portland had to have learned where they went wrong with Damian Lillard. And they went wrong because they had no money to get him a talent.
Yeah.
And when they needed to make a move, they couldn't make a move because the only tradable asset they had was CJ McCollum. But they was so locked in with CJ McCollum, the moves they could have made, like with Drew Holiday, they could have possibly got Paul George. They could have got all these players, but yet they was not able to pull the plug. And I think Portland is finally realizing after wasting 10 years of Damian Lillard's prime that we cannot do this with a Fernie Simons if we really believe he is our future. So,
I've got another low-key thing which I think could happen. I said this. So I've got a Portland video coming out soon, basically discussing why I think they're going to be good next year. And I actually said a player out of pocket, like there's no interest in this player, but I actually said, I reckon if this player wants a fresh start, which I think he will, I think this would be a good team. And I was saying, what about if TJ Warren? TJ Warren looks at the Trailblazers as well, goes and joins Grant and goes and plays with Dame, Simons, and Nurkic. And then I was thinking, those forwards, the perimeter defense is pretty good. And you've got really like 2 3-point shooters that can create their own shot if they need to, that can play around, Dame and Simons. Like, I just think it'd be a really fun starting 5. And then you just go and fill out that bench. Go out and get a solid bench in free agency. And then I think you genuinely have a crack at like, especially if you can get like 13 to 15 point per game, TJ Warren, 40% from 3 back, that type of guy. I think you got a good team on your hands. But
so question, what you do with Josh Hart?
What do you do with Josh Hart? That is in the video. I'm pretty sure I said I think they'll look to trade him if they want to go and get another like solid dude, like a Lauri Markkanen type guy, like not trade for Lauri Markkanen. Remember when Cavs signed a young dude for $17 million in free agency? The Trailblazers could look at that. Like realistically, they could look at that.
Really?
And maybe they look to do a sign and trade of Josh Hart for that, similar to how they did, we did with Markkanen. Could be a possibility, but maybe they just keep Hart. There's no reason they wouldn't, right?
Yeah, because see, that's where to me that it gets weird because it's like, man, if he was gonna do that with Josh Hart, why couldn't you get a better deal with CJ McCollum? Because matter of fact, it might have been you when I was talking about that. I'm like, or it might have been my friend Drill. Like, if Portland traded CJ for Josh Hart, right? You could have arguably talked to Indiana and probably got Sabonis for CJ McCollum and probably got another player in return. Now that I think would have probably showed that Portland they're keeping Dame for show. Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't believe it. I don't believe in Portland.
I would prefer I still would prefer the Pelicans trade because I think you still you'd keep the cap. You would keep the cap to go after a dude like Jeremy Grant and you get a top 15 pick. And then you can trade Hart for like a Lauri Markkanen type guy. In opposed to those like 3 players, the pick, a Lauri Markkanen type guy, and Jeremy Grant, you would really only get Sabonis. And look, some might argue which is better, but I think I'm taking I think that's more of a long-term option.
Don't Josh Hart gets paid this offseason?
He gets 12. No, he's contracted. Contracted for 2 or 3 more years. $12 million.
So when did he get extended?
Last year. I think it was like a 3 or 4 year deal. Yeah. So they've still got him contracted.
So they good then. Okay.
It's interesting because this is what I want to segue into earlier. Remember when I said like 5-10 minutes ago, why I think the Trailblazers actually came out of the trade for CJ better at the moment is because I don't know what's going on with Zion. I don't like what this thing is, and I'm really kind of nervous for David Griffin because I think he traded for CJ McCollum, not because he was a good player or anything like that. I think he was panicking and was like, holy crap, I got to do something or I'm about to lose my job. And it was a spur of the moment decision where he was just like, let's get this deal done. Because he gave up this year's pick. This year's pick's going to be top 15. And he just gave it away, Josh Hart. And I don't think he considered that much about Zion and his future. And I don't think a team of Devontae Graham, CJ Ingram, and Valanciunas gets past the 8th or 7th seed at the moment. I still think you need that extra guy. Because I don't know if Brandon Ingram is that interested in the Pelicans at all either. We saw this year, he didn't try that hard. And Ingram, Valanciunas, and Graham, where are they now? 12th? So it's like, are you going to tell me that CJ McCollum is going to drag them all the way up 7th or something like that? I don't think it's that simple, especially with other teams potentially getting better in the West. So it's tough.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They 12th in the West. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
How much is CJ going to make that team better?
You got me there. I agree with you. As you put it that way, I agree with you 100%. Because, they would. Yeah, because they only got 23 wins. I mean, it's possible because Portland got that 10th spot right currently.
But here's what I'm saying, though. If Zion comes back, then you've got a really good team on your hands. Because that starting five is very good. But if Zion's not there, you've got a bunch of these players who need to be around that one guy. They're just not. They're not going to be around Brandon Ingram. I feel like Ingram, it was this year that Ingram had the opportunity to go back to being the number one dude on the team. And I feel like it's low-key not being talked about enough how much I don't think he wants to be in New Orleans at the moment, similar to Zion. If he wants to be in New Orleans, they'd be a bit higher than 12th right now.
So it's like, what do you do then? Because it's like you said, because it came out a report that Zion Williamson apparently doesn't trust David Griffin, which is crazy.
Why does he not trust David Griffin? What has David Griffin done wrong besides tell this guy to stop eating so much KFC? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it, bro.
Honestly, I don't know either, man, because he had a coach. Zion Williamson allegedly didn't like Alvin Gentry. He got him up out of there. He got you another coach in Stan Van Gundy, who I don't think was that bad. He actually showed the league that you could run a point forward role and that you essentially needed shooters all around you, which he ended up making Lonzo a catch-and-shoot shooter, which ended up being his most efficient year from three. Then they fired him because apparently just didn't gel with him either. Then, like you said, they got you CJ McCollum. They flipped Adams for Valanciunas to make sure you had space. They got you Devontae Graham because they realized you needed a more scoring guard. You know.
Well.
And now you telling me after you not playing a single game this season, you almost didn't play 2 seasons. You telling me you're frustrated at the general manager for making moves that would make that players that has been in the league for 10 years has not even seen on a team?
Yep.
That is crazy to me.
And you know what I don't understand as well? A couple of years ago, Blake Griffin nearly got sued. I can't remember what the word was, but he nearly got sued for the issue with the contract because he wasn't playing to the best of his ability. Got waived because they're still paying the guy $38 million and then got to the Nets and started dunking again, right? Zion Williamson is on $10 million a year to be morbidly obese. Zion is extremely overweight. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of him recently, but he's extremely overweight. And some people might be attacking me saying, oh, maybe that's a mental thing, right? This and that. I don't know if it is for Zion. I think it was a mental thing for Ben Simmons. You could clearly tell he had some issues off the court. But where's the evidence to prove any of this is for Zion besides that he's overweight and doesn't want to be in New Orleans? It's not New Orleans' fault that he doesn't want to be there. They've done nothing wrong. Their fans have been good to him. They haven't stepped the foot wrong. I don't know what's going on with Zion, dude.
Because I don't see what they did wrong. And I don't think, because I know when it comes to the mental issue, that's not nothing to play with. But when you got a player that's rumored that he's already talking about an extension on his contract, I don't know too many players that's worried about their mental health and talking about if I'm gonna get a $205 million extension. You know what I mean? And you literally played less than 85 games. Or I think it might have been like 85 games within this is about to be your fourth season or third season. So I don't think this is mental. I don't know him personally, so I don't know. But I just do not think it has anything to do with mental. I think it has everything to do with him physically. And I do believe that the reason why it has everything to do with him physically is because of his own doing.
Yeah.
I do think the team has been trying to get him on course. And I know it has been trying to get him on course because they projected Zion based off of their own training staff that he was going to be back by December. Then it got pushed back where they was like, all right, we're going to bring him back in January. Then that got pushed back because they said he got re-injured. And now they don't know if he's coming back this season. I would be a great betting man to say Zion is not playing this season at all.
No, he's not.
Because he somehow got hurt twice without even playing basketball.
He's not playing this year. It is not happening. I don't know if we'll ever see Zion in a Pelicans jersey again. Because there's rumblings around that Zion's family have hated New Orleans for 2 years. If I'm Zion, right, now I'm not as close to my family as I know some people are out there. And he may be extremely close to his family. But if you're a guy getting paid $10 million a year and you're a 20-year-old, screw what your family thinks, bro. You're staying in New Orleans and you're toughing it out. And you're going to try and take this team to a championship like you were goddamn brought in to do. Why is this an issue for Zion Williamson? I don't understand what is going on here. Honestly, I think we should probably move on, bro, before we say something controversial and then get cancelled or something like that, because we're probably treading on thin ice here. But with the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm really glad that fans are like starting to get on Ben Simmons' side, because for a long time I was angry at Ben Simmons. I did not like the guy. But I think as the months have kind of come, and especially to him getting traded and the report saying that he broke down and cried when he was in the Zoom with the Brooklyn Nets GMs, their front office, and KD, I think he had a really big mental thing going on. And I want to say, like, shame on to a lot of the 76ers fans that like really like made this guy's life torture for a lot of months. I know not everyone did it. But I think something got brought up the other day, which I thought was really interesting. In 2000, and I think it was the 19 playoff. Oh no, it was the 2020 playoffs, right? If you remember, Ben Simmons, I think, got hurt, and Joel Embiid was like the main guy for the playoffs, and he played absolutely terrible. I think it was that series. Like, he was really bad, right? And then Ben Simmons came back, basically told him everything was going to be all right, all of this stuff. Then he rolled over to the next playoffs. Ben Simmons played really bad, and it just didn't seem like Joel Embiid cared. None of the 76ers players were really on Simmons' side. It seemed like they were on the 76ers side for booing him, this and that. And now you've got Ben Simmons in Brooklyn and James Harden in Philadelphia. And I want to ask you, who won the trade? And are you like happy that Simmons is in Brooklyn? And who do you think like was in the wrong? Do you think Joel Embiid's in the wrong? Are the fans in the wrong? What's going on with that whole situation?
So to answer your last question first, honestly, I as much as I even throughout the process, I really was all in with Ben. I don't think any side is wrong. And the reason why, even though I do think they simply didn't care about him actually having mental problems, I do think a lot of that frustration was already stacked up because they just didn't believe he had mental problems based off of what especially what he's shown in that playoffs. Because for Philly fans and especially the players, they felt like Ben gave up on him. And a lot of that is because when you have the Hawks confidently having Trae Young guard you as a 6'1" guard on a 6'10" guard, 250, and you're not even touching double digits on points or rebounds some games, that just looks like you gave up on the team. But at the same time, though, I do think this is a learning lesson for the league, though, to understand that mental issues is a problem and that you single-handedly scared this player to play basketball. Like, you really made him not almost consider not liking what he loved. Now, in terms of who won the trade, I think they both won. I know some people would say Brooklyn won completely because they did get a lot of assets because it's James Harden. And in my personal opinion, they got exactly what they needed. They got Andre Drummond, who was a rebound. He literally do not have to score. All he has to do is do what he's done throughout his whole career and get you 10 and 20.
Yeah.
Which he can do. Now they can actually have a big, and if they get in trouble, when LaMarcus Aldridge come back, they can run the small ball. LaMarcus at the 5,
got Nicholas
at
Claxton there as well.
Exactly. So if God forbid Drummond gets hurt, Claxton come, you can run big, you can run small, and you KD, Kyrie, right? Then you added another shooter in Seth Curry, which now you can space out. You can really play that small ball 5 out now. Yeah. Right. If KD's at the power forward and then God forbid Joe Harris comes back. Right. So you really complemented everything you needed. You needed defense. You needed a rebounder. You got that with Drummond and Ben, and you got an additional sniper. Right. Now, why did it make sense for the Sixers? Why did I say they also won? Is because now Joel Embiid finally have a player when they run a pick and roll that they will leave him 9 times out of 10 because they cannot afford James Harden to feel good at no point of the game. Because if he do, this is when the foul starts to happen. This is when he manipulates offenses. This is when he gets coaches mad on the defensive end because they literally cannot do anything to stop him. And now Joel Embiid can do what he does best and dominate the paint. Yeah. Now he can post up bigs. Now he has room. Now, I will say the 76ers will have to get another shooter or two to make up for the loss of Seth Curry. Hope they banking on Danny Green will be that. And they're also banking on Tobias Harris now that he can slot down, because that's the crazy part. People forget about Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is also a sniper. He doesn't have to be the second option now, which means the expectation that we've always had on Tobias Harris lowers because keep in mind, last playoff, Ben wasn't the only one that was getting criticized. Yeah. Tobias Harris was too, because it was like, oh my God, we paid this player $190 million and he's not even giving us 12 points, So now Tobias Harris can, oh my God, when they collapse on Joel Embiid and what James Harden does best, he collapses defenses and he kicks it out, and now Tobias Harris can get the corner and win shot.
You just gotta hope though that Tobias Harris stays. Like, he gets more consistent because his shot is so streaky. I don't even know what he's averaging, but I'm pretty sure it's like 34% or something really low from 3 this year. I don't even know. I could be wrong. I should probably actually fact check this, but I don't think his stats are really that great. I do think he needs the lift, but in saying that,
I think James Harden is gonna give him that lift. I'm gonna look it up too.
Yeah, 34%. Yeah. So I was right on the money. I don't think Tobias Harris is overpaid. I don't think you can say that. If people are saying that Andrew Wiggins is not necessarily overpaid now, is Tobias Harris that much overpaid? Like, I know Wiggins was a all-star
if you put
starter,
it
but
that
let's
way.
be honest here. He's what? Am I not allowed to say that I don't think Wiggins was an all-star starter?
Yeah, that's not allowed here because he had no business being an all-star starter.
Warriors fans will absolutely crucify me for saying that. Hey, I agree. Wiggins should have been an all-star.
What I said, Andrew Wiggins had no business being an all-star starter over Luka Doncic. Is imposterous.
Bro, Andrew Wiggins got benched in the All-Star game. Did you see that? He barely got played. They barely played Andrew Wiggins.
Because he shouldn't. Because
dude, the other thing as well is Jokic got benched in the last as well for Allen. Did you see that? They were like, hell yeah, we're sick of this shit. Let's just chuck Allen on. Get some good defense in. Bro, that was so good as a Cavs fan. It felt like Allen was a legitimate starter, and he just wasn't. I don't know. We might be pissing off some Warriors fans here. What the hell were we even talking about, bro? Tobias Harris being overpaid.
Oh, Tobias, yeah.
Look, I know Tobias Harris will probably be on like 36 million soon, which is definitely overpaid. But if you're to whack me with Tobias Harris making 31 to 33 million, it's not bad. I mean, I'm not even saying Kevin Love is extremely overpaid anymore. Look, Love should be on about 20 million, 15 million a year, but it passes now, dude. It passes with all these teams going over the luxury tax now. I feel like Tobias Harris, you're right though. Like, if he starts being accurate and gets that 3-point jumper going, there's no reason why, and especially if he can get his consistent mid-range going again, which I think he had Clippers season and early 76ers run. Dude, the team's going to be really good. I just don't know if they'll be fully healthy this year. Harden's still got a bit of issues.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to see for the playoffs. But I reckon Brooklyn did get the little bit of the... I think they became further ahead of the 76ers. Like, you bring in Drummond, excellent rebounder. That's all he's got to do. And just stand there and be a big boy and defend the interior. Seth Curry, immediate Joe Harris replacement, and wait till Harris gets back if he does this year. I don't know. But then Ben Simmons, dude, the thing that this team lacked, I think, was perimeter defense at some stages. Like, Bruce Brown could cover that. But the other thing was just defense as, through the height. Blake Griffin's not a good defender. Aldridge is not a good defender. Claxton is... Depends which Claxton you're getting. Now you got Simmons that can come and run the power forward, and then you move KD back to his natural small forward. And Drummond there as well, who's, I think, a better defender than all three of the big men that they had. You're bringing in some good talent right there, and 2 first-round picks they can use to trade every now and then. I think it's a really interesting team, and they don't really have, like, in free agency, if they re-sign Kyrie Irving and re-sign Bruce Brown and Andre Drummond, you got like a solidified team for the next 3+ years, right? So,
yeah,
I reckon Nets have done good. I'd say because of that trade, we'll have to see how Simmons goes. And now that Kyrie's back full time, Nets could be, I think, nearly the team to beat if they get everything going. If they have injuries again, issues with Kyrie, I won't be saying that. I gotta wait to see what happens to Simmons and that. Bucks are still ahead of them for me. Same with I would say the Heat as well. Maybe not the Bulls. They've got a lot of injuries. We'll have to see with them and how they go in the playoffs. But I don't know. They're top 4 for me at the moment. And yeah, what do you reckon? What's your 4? Because mine's probably Bucks at 1, Heat at 2, Nets at 3, Bulls at 4, I think, at the moment.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you got the Bucks way too high for me.
You reckon?
Yeah. They might be in the top 4, but they definitely would not be 1.
You don't think they'd turn it up in the playoffs?
No.
Really?
No. I honestly, and like you said, Chicago's dependent because if they're not healthy. But if we make the bold assumption that this year is the year where everybody's healthy, I strongly believe Miami would be the team to beat.
See, that's who I was scared to say. I thought you were going to tell me that you didn't think Miami were going to be the.
No, I still believe I just
Right.
believe their defense. I feel like their team defense got better. It just depends on if Victor Oladipo
Comes
can give
back.
them 75% of the Victor Oladipo we know. I think that's all it's going to take for the Miami Heat to get over the hump.
Yeah.
And with PJ Tucker now too, and you got Kyle Lowry, a finesse defender who can, get them little weird little ticky tack, calls, and then Jimmy Butler if he's in. Then you got Bam Adebayo that can switch on 4s and 5s. Then depending on what Tyler Hero you get, as well as what Duncan Robinson.
That's my concern is the bench. I'm super worried about their bench, dude. You got Tyler Hero, who's always been good this year, but Duncan Robinson is just.
Yeah,
he's starting, but it's just like, well, what's going on there? Victor Oladipo, will he be back in time? And then their bench it's been good for the season, but it's just, I don't know. Same with the Bulls. The Bulls are so. I feel bad for them. Like, they've always got 1 billion players injured, and somehow they're still like nearly the best team in the league. But I didn't say that. I don't know if you have them there, but I don't have the 76ers top 4 yet. I don't have them there yet because I worry they won't be healthy for playoffs. I just don't think they'll be there. Like, they won't be like the top 4 bracket of teams that will be. Could they make the conference finals? They could, but I've got 4 teams over them at the moment.
You know what I'm about to say too, as you say that, which is weird because at first I wasn't. I actually think the 76ers currently, even though I think they might end up trading Tobias eventually, but I think the Sixers is already better than the Bucks this season.
Oh, what's your issue with the Bucks, bro? What do you not like about them? They're the champions, dude. And they got better. Like, they're the champions, and they got better.
Did they get better?
Their team's better, but they haven't been better this year. But wait till the playoffs come around.
I mean, if you want to be realistic, though, even with their because they won the title, but let's put this in context here. The teams they beat to get to that title,
oh no,
was damaged or teams they had no business even playing in the first place.
Okay.
Even in the first round, they played Miami. Miami literally had the shortest offseason possible, like the Lakers, and both of those teams got knocked out first round, right? Then the round after, they played who? They played Brooklyn, who essentially didn't have Harden or Kyrie.
Yeah.
And then the third round, they played the Atlanta Hawks, who no one in their right mind thought they was even supposed to be in that round. And then Trae Young still got hurt.
Who did they play in the finals?
They played Phoenix,
who
also was not supposed to be in the finals.
Yeah, but Phoenix are very good now. We know Phoenix are a really good
now.
team.
And did even still in that series,
DeAndre
Ayton still got hurt. The only player that was able to guard, well, quotations on guard, to slow down Giannis got hurt.
You are being controversial. This is a controversial
I'm being realistic. Milwaukee Bucks got the benefit of the doubt on each round, which is unheard of in the playoffs. And I feel like now, assuming everybody's healthy, which is a big if, because last year was a testament to that. Especially not because the East is the best we've seen, I doubt the Milwaukee Bucks get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Whoa!
I would even go that far. I doubt the Milwaukee Bucks goes to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow, I'm not saying they will, but I'm still
let alone the finals.
Wow.
Actually, let me look at this.
That is
because they would probably second round they probably play the Heat. They play the Cavs first. That's where they start. They play the Cavs first round.
Yeah, they're making it past the first round because I'm not saying the Cavs are gonna be playing them on the first round, but if they match up against the Sixers or the Celtics, I'm having them as a certainty to get past both of those teams, I think.
But that's assuming because right now, if they stay right now and the Bucks is 4th seed, if they would probably have to play the Heat in the second round, I think the Heat is knocking them out. I don't think they're not going to the conference finals.
I think the Heat could 100% beat him because if you put Bam on Giannis, you've got the matchup right there. JB on Chris Middleton, you got the matchup there. Larry on, well, I guess Larry on old mate. What Drew Holiday? They just kind of cancel each other out. That's not really too much of a contest. And then you're looking at like Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis taking on Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, this and that. Because that team, both teams are really even when I'm looking at this. Like, you got matchups. You actually got matchups. I'm not saying Middleton's better than Butler. But both can go head to head. That would be a really interesting matchup. And then you got, dude, as well, Bam on Giannis. I'm not saying Bam's better than Giannis, but we've seen Bam do extremely well against Giannis before. You could be onto something, but that could also be a 7-game series. That could be like, I could be either this close to proving you wrong, or I could be that close to not proving you wrong. It could be very, very tight. And both teams have made the finals in the last couple of years, so that'd be a good matchup.
I don't think that series is going. If they healthy, I don't think that series goes to 7.
Wow.
I think Miami Heat's defense, like I said, if we assume everybody's healthy, I think Miami Heat defense will be too overwhelming for the Bucks. I think that it will beat them in 5. At the very least, they would beat them in 5.
Who?
I just don't.
In my opinion, that's a big 5. Wait, you beat him in 5? Are you crazy?
In 5, Miami Heat would beat the Bucks in 5. Healthy, Miami Heat defense would be too overwhelming. And to be honest, Milwaukee is nothing special about Milwaukee Bucks offense, which is why I think that would be the series where Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero would literally excel. Out of all the matchups and all the teams they would play, that would be the one team, because Milwaukee, all they're gonna do essentially is what they did to Miami Heat last year in Brooklyn. They're gonna go straight to zone, and that's gonna be their worst case scenario if they run zone to Miami, because they can't because they're not gonna play Miami Heat in man. Not now, assuming they healthy. They're not running a man on Miami. To be honest, they can't run a man if they play Chicago if they healthy. And God forbid if Brooklyn
you think the
get
Bulls
up there.
You think the Bulls would beat the Bucks?
I think that might go in 7. I think that could go 7.
I've got the Bucks taking the Bulls. I don't think. Oh, that's a tough one, but I can
see that. I can see that, but
I don't think Zach LaVine and DeRozan would overpower Giannis and Middleton. It's tough.
I'm not even mad at that, only because I don't think Chicago got a really great team. They just don't got nothing to guard Giannis, but they got everything to guard everybody else. Like they can literally, because Zach, DeMar, the length of and Lonzo too. They can guard literally everybody else but Giannis. They can try because they got the length too, but they would have to. Chicago would low key have to play out of body. They would have to offensively destroy Milwaukee.
Yeah. If you there's also, so we'll probably move on now because we've been talking about this for a long time, and honestly, everyone and their dad is going to have a different opinion to us. Some might even have the Cavs in that 4 or 5 team range that we've been talking about. I know damn well the Celtics fans are going to have them in that top 2 range for all we know. It's just obvious. I don't even want to get into that, but Celtics fans are an interesting breed. I think even they'll agree with that. But Jordan Poole, you heard about that rumor? You heard what's going on there? $80 million contract extension. Is Jordan Poole going to re-sign on that type of deal? Is it a good one for the Warriors, or does it take them too over the tax, too far over? Because they're already, I think, ahead of the next best team by 10 or 20 million over that luxury tax. Signing Poole, you're 30 to 40 million over the next best team.
I don't know if you do that.
Really?
I don't know if you pay him that. Like, don't give me and when I say it for this player, it would be a plus if they keep Jordan Poole on the Warriors because I think he complements their structure so well. But for $80 million, that's a tough. It's tough because if you look at the current structure of Golden State now, they still got Wiseman. They got Kuminga that's eventually, if he keeps growing, he's probably going to get paid too. And they got a couple of other names that's probably going to get some dollars. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to just give him just 80, like to get locked in like that. Unless the Warriors know something we don't, that they got some in play.
Yeah. The way I kind of see it is are the Warriors preparing for the future in terms of they're probably sitting back and they're like, hold on a second. After this season, we'll have Clay on 2 years, Steph on 2 years. I think it is. I could be wrong on these. Draymond on 2 years. And think about it. All of these guys will be end of their primes, most likely, like out of their primes by the time their contracts are done. You'd think chances are these guys are Warriors, through all the way. They're going to take potential pay cuts, right? How many years are you actually going to be like this severely over the luxury tax? Like, how many years are you going to be severely over it? Especially like if you make these moves, who knows how many of these players are going to want in the future. But Jordan Poole, he could be that type of guy that in 2 years' time, he's their new starting shooting guard, averaging 20 points per game. I mean, when Clay was injured this year, he was averaging 18 a game behind, Steph Curry and on similar type with Andrew Wiggins. This guy has the potential to average 20 plus in his career. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Or here's the other one, which I saw someone suggest. If you sign him to $20 million a year and you've got James Wiseman on $10 million, right? And you throw in some picks, you're realistically matching up Karl Anthony Towns' contract. And if the Timberwolves suck next year and Cat wants out, that's not a whole lot to give up for a dude that's averaging 25 plus per game, 40% from three, all-star. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I'm more on the side of they're going to be signing Poole $20 million plus a year to keep him for the future, because I think they're going to go with Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, James Wiseman. I think they're all looking at these guys and they're saying, all of you are going to be starting soon. You know what I mean? You guys are going to be the future starters. And realistically, it's possible that a couple of them do. So I want to know, what do you think? Is that right to say that? Or are the Warriors still overpaying?
Honestly, I can see where you're coming from when you say just sign those young guys just to have them ready, because eventually Curry, Draymond, and Clay is going to have to pass the torch. But the only reason I'm kind of like iffy about it is because I'm looking at it and it's like the Golden State Warriors is second seed in the Western Conference, right? Golden State right now is still good enough to win a title.
Yeah.
And if Golden State can make one more push, one more legitimate push, and if that means, because arguably they might not even have to make a Karl Anthony Towns trade to get there. They can possibly make it this season. Yeah, depending on if Draymond comes back in time, James Wiseman play, etc. But if Golden State don't have faith in James Wiseman and they feel like Karl Anthony Towns brings in more space in it, then of course you can get a budget rim protector. Like you can somehow get JaVale McGee to get.
That is, oh my God! I was literally just about to say JaVale McGee.
Like you can get JaVale McGee back, and he knows y'all system, and you back in it. And offensively, y'all are the best 3-point shooting team ever, right? So it's like, and you still got a lot, and which people don't recognize, you still got a lot of good names on your rock, because that means even if you did trade, like you said, James Wiseman and Jordan Poole, yeah. you still got Kuminga left, and you still got touch. Yeah, you still got your bench is still loaded. Like
you still got young players like all around.
Yeah, and you still got a lot of your picks still too. So even if your intent was to pass the torch, you still can do that while making a push for another title.
I completely agree.
So I think Golden State, I think they're gonna see what happens this season.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think the Warriors could really win a ring this season.
If they
Draymond
don't win
comes
a
back.
ring, though, do you think they'll look more at trading Poole for Cat, or because I think if they win the ring or make it to the finals and do well in the finals, then they're keeping Jordan Poole for the future. Like, they're not trading him at all. But if they somehow bum out in the playoffs and they realize, hold on a second, we actually need a center here.
Yeah, they're gonna make a move.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a blockbuster because they got that new arena. They want to make sure those seats is filled out. And to a degree, they still got their players in their prime. It might be at the end of their primes, but they still got just enough years to pull off one or two more rings.
Yeah.
And I think you gotta capture this opportunity if you're Golden State.
And Cat's just entering his prime now. Like, what is he, 26, 27? Bro, he's got years left. He's got years left in his prime. That's like, I don't think it's an issue at all to maybe think of Jordan Poole for Cat. But I know Warriors fans will disagree. I know they won't want to trade Jordan Poole. But let's be real, you're not getting Cat for Moses Moody, James Wiseman, and 3 picks. They're going to want to do like Jordan Poole, rather, who can be that future player for the Timberwolves and partner him alongside Anthony Edwards. But I don't think that's going to happen either. The other thing we're not talking about is the fact that I think the Timberwolves are going to be a pretty good team in the near future. I think they've definitely got the building blocks. I mean, this is the first time in nearly 20 years the Timberwolves have ever had a foundation. They had a foundation for half a year with Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, and Cat. But now they've got a foundation, D'Lo, Cat, and Edwards, and Patrick Beverley's on a re-sign. All you need now is to go out in free agency, sign a small forward and power forward, and then add 3 new bench players or something like that. Then you got a seriously good team. People forget that the Timberwolves are like 7th at the time making this podcast. They're like 7th or 8th or something like that in the playoffs, which is ridiculous for a team where people are saying could still blow it up and get rid of Cat. And they don't even have a power forward or a small forward that's established yet. They're playing Edwards at small forward. If you move Beverley to the bench next year, put Edwards at shooting guard, maybe you go out and bring in a dude like TJ Warren on a little bit cheaper money or something like that. Yeah. Then realistically, you're filling it out. You're doing really well. And again, a power forward that can somewhat guard the perimeter and interior, whoever that might be. I'm sure there's someone out there. I think the Timberwolves are also set to be a pretty solid team in the near couple of years, especially with the West kind of falling apart right now. Like, so many teams are in disarray. The Timberwolves could legitimately step up, and for all we know, they could make the playoffs this year. Like, they're 7th right now. I expect them to make the playoffs. And they're not even doing that with an established forward rotation. Really interesting.
And it's like you said, it's open. They got a superstar in the making with Anthony Edwards. Like, he literally could be their superstar. He got the attitude for it, man.
Yeah. Easy. I think so too. And D'Lo, even though he's not back to his best, could 100% be a really solid third option on a team. And he has been so far this season. So I can't see why the Timberwolves wouldn't make the playoffs. Do you think they will?
Yeah, I would hope so. Because I think that would be great for Anthony Edwards. I think he's a player, if he even sniffs the playoffs for the first time, I think that's where you might see the transcendence of Anthony Edwards. Like, I know I just said superstar, but I feel like if he ever touched the playoff, he's gonna really turn into a superstar that following season. Like, that would be a team that would be great with Bradley Beal too. By the way, on a tangent,
the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I like to see one Bradley Beal. I know you don't like defense. Anthony Edwards at the small forward.
I don't.
They don't care about defense, man. They just want to double down on offense. They've been like that for the past minus when they had Jimmy Butler.
Bro, I was
technically.
watching a couple years ago, and I completely forgot the weird ass rotation the Timberwolves were running that got them to the playoffs. People go, oh, the Cavaliers pioneered the 3 7-foot players in the starting lineup. Bro, the Timberwolves team a couple years ago, people forget, was rolling out Taj Gibson at the 4 and Naman Bjelica at the 3 and Cat at the 5 during games and JB at the 2 and Wiggins sometimes at the 1 if they didn't have Jeff Teague there. The team was tall as. I don't even know what the hell was going on. They were just throwing players out there. I don't know. I want to know who the Timberwolves are going to sign free agency. Can you bring up some names? You got any names who you'd like to see go there?
Honestly, no, not.
I feel like Paul Millsap missed an opportunity. They were really interested in him in free agency, and he went off to the Nets and played 12 minutes a game.
Yeah. Whoever they get, I think it has to be a center though, just to
A backup
make
center.
sure. Yeah.
You don't like what's the guy they have now? They've got a good backup center, don't they? Niles Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Surely he's all right.
Yeah, he's cool, but I think they still need they need another sturdy center.
Yeah.
They need a wing too. I do agree. They just
like a backup wing.
Yeah, but I do think I would get a sturdy wing. Like, even though I know he's not a free agent, but if they could, I would pursue Steven Adams because I think Steven Adams would work way better on the
play the backup center position. Yeah. See, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about backup center, but he would fit.
Yeah.
Timberwolves though.
I think if you can get because what will they have? I mean, you're losing realistically, they're gonna have some cap because old mate Taurean Prince is on a $15 million per year deal. That will be expiring. I think they paid Patrick Beverley similar money, so that probably won't be expiring. I'm pretty sure they'll have some cap. I think it would be interesting to look at a TJ Warren type guy and offer him like 12 million just for like 1 year or something and see if he can come back from injury. Hope he comes back healthy because he's not going to take any less than what he's already on now. And then I still feel like you look at, there'll be other dudes that could find some nice power forward. Look, it's probably the worst case scenario, but it's not even that bad. You roll in with, who's their starting 4 now? Jared Vanderbilt. You roll back in with him next season, which you probably don't want to do. I don't know if he necessarily fulfills what the Timberwolves need at the moment. But there's always options. I don't know. I think the Timberwolves are going to be cool, though. I made a video on them. It didn't do that too well because apparently there's not many Timberwolves fans out there to watch my video. So that kind of hurts a little bit because I put a lot of time in it. But, yeah. I don't know. Another team that made a good signing, but Tristan Thompson to the Bulls. What do you think? I really like this signing because I think they desperately needed a backup center, and he's a small ball dude that helps out. Can't tell me that he's not better than the backup center they already have now. No?
You know, you feel me. Maybe I'm just not saying what you're saying. I just don't see what Tristan Thompson brings, though. I really don't.
Right.
I really don't. Like, I just don't. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I feel like Tristan Thompson. I will start off like this. I thank Tristan Thompson for helping us with a title, right? With that being said, though, I do not think Tristan Thompson do anything well for an NBA player. I do not. I think he is a very overrated rebounder.
Whoa!
I think. Well, he doesn't. He cannot create his own shot. Cannot do anything in the post.
You don't think he'll at least come in and help out this Bulls team? Because the way I see it, they're a very small ball. They're a very small ball team, and I don't think Tony Bradley brought anything to this Bulls team. If you say that Thompson doesn't bring anything, dude, Bradley's the next step of not bringing anything to this team. We look at the Bulls like this, right? You bring in Thompson, and if you say to him, we've got shooters all around, the only thing you need to do is grab a rebound and just run the floor. Thompson's done that before. Thompson's always been a very good rebounder for his height. He's 6'9", 6'9", and he can come in and average you a couple rebounds off that bench. And then you still got him running the floor, still pretty quick. And then again, I don't know how he is with lobs anymore, but you've got Lonzo Ball, you got Caruso there, you got all these players. I still know Thompson was very capable of getting a lob a couple years ago. That's all you need from him. If he comes in and he does that stupid shit where he does the post hook around 3 players who are guarding him, then it's a terrible signing. But if he plays his role and knows what the Chicago Bulls need from him, I think it will be a very, very underrated signing and will actually change the Chicago Bulls team. Especially if Vooch was to have another injury, Thompson is a much better starting center than Tony Bradley or, for God's sakes, I've even seen them run Derrick Jones now at that center position. Thompson's going to do a much better job.
Even though I do agree, he probably is better than Bradley, but I don't agree with. I don't think he's going to be that impactful. I just don't like, because if you really want to put this in context, this is exactly what the Boston Celtics thought when he first signed there. When they needed all they needed was a player to grab them some rebounds. And when they tried it, they never played him or gave him significant minutes ever since. And they let him walk. Sacramento thought the same thing, even though that's a different circumstance. Sacramento is garbage anyway. So anybody that goes there is hopeless. Yeah, but, he also still didn't he still didn't do that either. Indiana,
I think he somewhat played a role on the Celtics, though. I don't think he was the reason they ended up having a downfall. I mean,
he didn't have a he wasn't
season he was on there.
He wasn't the reason they had a downfall, but he definitely didn't help them.
No,
he didn't help what they needed. They needed a rebounder.
But I don't think it was wrong to bring him in. He just got a lot of money. And that's the thing. The beauty with the Chicago Bulls right now, he's on the minimum, dude. He's on the minimum.
Yeah.
He's not paying anything for this guy. And he's going to
So what would be the expectations for him?
What are the expectations? All right.
Like stat-wise, because I think I cut you off too, because you was about to say if he averaging what?
All right. So, Chicago Bulls, I'm looking at their team right now, right? Because I'm going to look at Vucevic. I'm going to look at Vucevic, who plays 34 minutes per night on average. That means you've got 14 minutes per night for Thompson to come in. And their second leading rebounder is Lonzo Ball on 5, right? And their backup rebounder, Tony Bradley, who is playing the 11 minutes per game, is averaging 3.5 rebounds. All Thompson needs to do in that 14 minutes is come in and average 5 to 6 rebounds off the bench, run the floor, and at least just give the option, to have a lob if he's there. But mainly just get the 6 rebounds. And if you're open, get the points. But don't do those post hooks. Don't try and create your own offense. You're a minimum player. Be a minimum player. Be a role player that's on the minimum. Do not try and be LeBron or, Kevin Love, which he's tried to do before. He's tried to be Kevin Love in the post before. It doesn't work. You don't know how to jump. You don't have a jump shot. I've seen him try and fade. It's not pretty. And especially that hook shit. Don't do it unless you're on a dude that's similar height to you that you know you can back down.
Yeah.
That's my expectations for Tristan Thompson. I think if the Bulls get it into his head, I can't see why he wouldn't be solid for them. So I think it's a W signing. I think it's a good signing. I think it's an underrated signing. And I think it will change the Chicago Bulls team because they finally have a dude that can play 14 minutes off the bench. For all we know, they could slot him at the 4. I mean, you probably don't want to do it, but when you've got Vucevic at the 5 who can shoot the 3, there's no reason why Thompson can't at least run some minutes on the 4, especially if he's playing a slower dude that he can guard. And then again, if Vucevic goes down with an injury, Thompson's a guy that can play 30 minutes and get you a double-double, which he's done on the Cavs before. So good signing, in my opinion. Anything else you want to add?
I think you said it best, man. I think anything else is gonna get you They're just gonna give you controversial stars on the comments.
Yeah.
I have nothing like, because I don't know. I think that would be good. I'm not even gonna fake. Like if he does that, just that would be solid for Chicago, because obviously Chicago does not need nobody just giving them 20 and 10. They literally got 4 players that could literally give them double doubles in the same game at the same time if healthy, and Lonzo, DeMar, Zach, and Vooch, which they've done that before. I think 3 of them had like 20 plus points with the double double, but I just don't feel like it's gonna be hard to everybody else on their team.
See how he goes.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, because in my mind, I just feel like out of all the players they got in Chicago, a lot of them is like Swiss Army knives, where they can literally do a lot of different things. They can switch on literally everything. But with Tristan Thompson, I think he throws that off.
Yeah.
Because even when you said you can put him at the power forward, I got nervous because I thought of all of the like very quick power forwards who's really mobile. I just don't feel like I know Tristan Thompson's not guarding those forwards. So you would almost have to bank on the fact that somebody have a traditional power forward at the power forward spot.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's guarding that. But then at the same time, it's like, do I have faith in Tristan Thompson playing the 5? Which the answer is no, because it's like when you have even a traditional center, that center is just too big for Tristan Thompson.
Yeah. He's a very 2016, 2015 player. Like, the mold of his player lasted a couple years. So,
like, it would be different if he shot the ball a little bit. Like, if he had, like, a 3-point shot on him. But he doesn't have that. Like, he doesn't have a 3-point shot, a mid-range shot. It's kind of...
He does have, like, 3 kids, though, now, doesn't he? Maybe even more. Shit, I could be wrong. He could have more just floating about somewhere.
You a funny man for that.
Reminds me of that. Have you seen the Family Guy, the Glenn Quagmire one, when he walks into the school and he sees the 4 kids and they're like, "Daddy."
Yeah.
Who even knows? But I reckon we probably ended off here on a good note. I don't really know if there's any much more we can say about this. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Go and subscribe to Rally. It's been really good that you came on and did this. It's been really good. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments as well. Do you guys agree with our list on anything? Let me know. Subscribe to my Clips channel, my gaming channel, IRL/Long channel. And yeah, anything else you want to say, or you just kind of...
You got it, man.
You got it. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.